Good morning. Happy Monday to everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Michael. For information and educational purposes only, it is your responsibility to do your own due diligence. We're dedicating this to Hawaii, to our good friend in Hawaii who had two homes. Unfortunately, in her family, her daughter and herself that were gone in Lahaina. So, and we have some friends going over to have a little bit of a sojourn in Hawaii this week. So that's the reason for our dedication. So let's get right to it. Let's get to our word of the day. Our word of the day today is felicitate. Felicitate. What does that mean? It means to congratulate. We wanted to be the first people to felicitate our niece on her spelling bee victory. So there we go. See if you can add that to your vocabulary. We don't have any news, market news this morning. Unfortunately, we didn't get our early morning newsletter. But here's our heat map. This is what's happening. This morning, Eli Lilly is really selling off this morning, moving towards its 50-day moving average. Microsoft is off a little. NVIDIA was up earlier, been up and down all day. We have AMD off about 4%. Let's just refresh this and make sure this is yes, this is indeed today. Micron is down slightly. Amazon is down. Meta is down 4.35%. Tesla is up. Some of our energy and basic materials are up. We've got a mixed bag in financials. So that's a look there. We'll stop our share. Share our screen. So this is super micro. Pull back to the 10-day moving average and is bouncing. So it's not doing too bad. We'll take a deeper dive in a little bit, but let's go around the market and just see what's happening. Dollar index. Before we do that, I'm just going to stop the share and share this. So if you find that you're up a lot and you don't want to worry about any potential recession, things still look a little iffy moving forward. We probably won't have any big downturn this year, I don't think, but in the next 2 years, who's to know? Because it does look like there's a lot of pressures behind the scenes. So this is index investing, and this is an annuity. You can use a fixed annuity and have no risk in the market, and it has no fee, and it goes up, and it goes up, and it goes up. Beats index investing by about 5% per year. Can sleep better. Your 401k will not turn into a 201k. If you want to learn more about this, please check us out. You can have it in the NASDAQ, the S&P 500. No risk, but when the market goes up, you get paid up. When it goes down, your account does not go down. So feel free to reach out to us if you want to learn more information. Stop with this and go back to our charts. The dollar is kind of stabilizing here. It's up 0.07%, 2 cents, not any big moves. Take a look at silver. Silver is up today, about 16 cents. As I've said in the past, the best place to buy is on a retreat. When it gets up into this area, this is probably where you want to sell. And want to sell about 10%, pulls back, buy about 15% and just rinse and repeat. That's how to make it in silver and gold. And that's what I kind of like about gold as well. I would definitely buy down here when it's riding closer to his 50-day moving average. It's really extended right now. So that's the story in gold. Copper. Copper's kind of bouncing around, had a pullback on Friday. Off a bounce on the 50-day moving average, that might have been a place to buy. Volume was higher on the selling than it has been on the buying, so I'd kind of watch out there. It's up 2.78% today. Southern Copper continues to act pretty well. Earnings in 45 days, down 0.2%. Freeport-McMoRan is up today, up 1.3%. Tried to move here and pulled back. I still kind of like, this is kind of a double bottom on the relative strength. And right about here, when it cleared that middle of the W, that would have been a point to buy. And it's probably on this gap up right here, be looking to buy. And take a look at Vale. Vale is gapping down 2.3% today. That doesn't look too good. They are having some problem with dengue fever in Brazil. They're really having a miserable, I think over 1 million people have been infected. So that's something for the World Health Organization to really look at. And let's look at BHP in Australia. Big gap down. I'm not sure what's going on there, but that it looks pretty ugly. Down 2%. I'd wait to see if that stabilizes, as that relative strength line is just diving. This doesn't look like a very good trend. And Rio looks very similar to BHP. Another gap down, is fighting back to get up to this area. So volume, selling volume is pretty high above average daily volume. So that's a warning sign. So let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum is pulling back today. It's down 1 cent. Not really too much to be concerned about, but many people said this is going to go to 10,000. I believe it's right near 4,000 right now. So I'd be waiting to see if there's some sort of pullback before entering. It's pretty far extended. 23.26 would have been the buy point here. And let's see, go to Bitto. Got a gap up today. Big move over the weekend last night. And you look at IBIT, just take a look at a few of these. Big gap up on that one, and a Grayscale ETF as well. And that one is gapping up as well. So there we have it. We looked at like a 50% pullback from where it was on the Fibonacci retracement. At 50%, it was about 57. So it's right about where this 50-day, no, it's actually the 10-day moving average is. That's where a pullback would be. Let's look at one of the Bitcoin miners. This looked like on the weekend update that this was a high tide flag. We'll just see how this kind of plays out. They are pulling back a little bit, and with the halving coming, they're going to get less money. for creating Bitcoin. So we'll just see how that all plays out. So we had a big move down in video over the weekend, actually on Friday. Looks like it's trying to bounce off of the 10-day moving average. It has moved down some more, down another 1.5%. SMCI is bouncing a little bit more. ARM down to 127.36. We do have options at 120 and 125, so we're gonna watch this for a few days. Qualcomm pulled back to 170 and is bouncing a little bit right here. We do still have those naked calls on, so we'll continue to watch that. And let's go to our daily workup. What is up 3% and 50% increase in volume? Just going to refresh. There we go. We only got 3 items. Futu holding is up pretty big. Got a pretty good volume in here. Looks like I would think it would be some professional management. This is China. Believe that, yeah, this is a brokerage company in China. And this is our Brazilian brokerage company. It isn't in the top volume, but this is one I would keep an eye on. Pretty tight closes right here near the 50-day moving average. Look at this volume. It's pretty strong volume. So let's go. What's next? Paymentus Holdings had a big gap up. It did sell off, but now it's bouncing over the 20-day. This seems to be a pattern that is kind of repeating itself. Provides cloud-based platform for bill payment technology. On holding, which took some profits. Some options on right about here. No, right here. This looked like a pocket pivot here. Looked like a little higher volume. We put it on, ran up here, and then pulled back a little bit. So we had 7 calls on, and we took off 4 of them. So we have 3 left. There's 1 day before the earnings. And that is our 3% list. See what's up. 5%. BioNTech. Wow, look at that move. That's a pocket pivot if I've ever seen one. Lower volume here and then huge volume here. Up 5.7%. Dutch Brothers. Drive-through coffee shops. And pull back here. Pretty low volume. That's what you like to see. And now look at all this increasing volume. This is all professional money managers. Loading up here. What happened on this big day? It was down a little bit, pulled back to, looks like the 50-day moving average. Earnings were up 33%, and this is definitely a pocket pivot. Almost no volume over here, but you like to see very bullish. Pull back and really low volume, and now high volume on a little breakout there. So that's Dutch Brothers Coffee. See Computer X International A manufactures medium to high-end ergonomic computer support. Wow. Look at all of this volume. Look at all of that buying. This is definitely quite a pocket pivot. That'd be a day to get in. Another strong day, pulls back here. Look at the volume. Almost no volume whatsoever. And then a massive buying volume again today. California Resources. That's to me. It's just like all over the place. A lot of volatility and not much improvement. This really needs to tighten up before I'd even look at it. GLSI, we talked about this last week. We took a position, a couple of our accounts in it. I said, shame on me for not putting on an alert here. So moved up here, moved up, had a little bit of a pullback. This would have been a nice day to put it on pocket pivot, and then it really popped over here. This is the day we put it on 15 something, pulled back. We could have added some, just decided to kind of watch it. And it's up $2 since we put it on. Very nice. This is Ituran location and control. Israeli provide a lot of technology in Israel. I got a big gap up. Look at all this buying. After the earnings were up 20%. All this blue volume selling. Once again, virtually nothing, very bullish. And a huge move on a gap up today. I'm not sure if we have this in an Israeli file or not, but let's just take a look. It's already in the list. Awesome. Let's move on. There's 21 items. We're not going to look at all of them. This is 2020 IPO. As we know, most of the growth comes in IPOs, gap up, pull back, and it is definitely a pocket pivot today. Look at all that volume. So there we go. Interesting, we got Moderna and that BioNTech showing up today. That's a pocket pivot in Moderna. You really need to help those poor people suffering in Brazil with dengue fever. And pretty big move there. Got above its 200-day moving average. MicroStrategy just keeps stretching and stretching. Another pocket pivot. Remember, we had this on our show at 495. That's where we talked about it. No, it wasn't over there. It was right here. Like a VCP. First added 10 shares at 493. And I got 2 options at 495. And look at the move ever since then. There is a chance to add over here. Shame on me. And then it is just off to the moon. MGIC investment. We got a pocket pivot here. Look at this, pretty low volume except for this one day. It's up slightly. Low volume here, and then boom, it just takes off 5%. Not going to look at the rest. We'll just kind of scan through and see what kind of names we see. NetScout Systems, we looked at Paymentus, PLDT. I think this is a telephone company in the Philippines. Yep. Wow, look at that. Look at that move. Earnings up 11%. And look at all this volume. That is definitely professional buying. I don't think that's your Aunt Edna buying. Look at that. Next, we got Finia, CPI Card Group, Radiant Group, Radware, LS, Starrett, Tektronic Industries. I believe we have one more. Look, Power and Digital 2. This is the SPAC, Special Blank Check Company, Special Purpose Acquisition Company, formed to acquire, merge with electrical or renewable power generation. I would put this into Yahoo if you wanted more information about it to find out who, what news they have of a company that they're merging, because look at all of this. Nothing, 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 and then today, boom. Could open this up to see if there's any news. No news coming in here, so that's what I would do. Not sure why. There we go. It's up 10% on a 200% increase in volume. Nothing, so that's pretty easy. So what did we do today? Take a look at Meta. There's a pullback to 482 or so. We sold 20 shares at 500 last week. Bottom at back at 482 this morning. So that's one in our portfolio. ELF. We sold at 208. We had a pullback to 194. It's still at 194, so we added 100 shares at 194. We'll just see what happens. Pull back to the 20-day moving average. This has a little bit more volatility. We did share this on VCP, volatility contraction pattern. Said we were going to put this on at 120. Analyst was banging the table saying this is at least in the 150s, and before we knew it, it was up to the 130s and 150. Pulled back to 130, 150 to the 20-day moving average was supported here. We could have added, and we talked about this numerous times, but that's Elf Beauty. Nice big winner from 120 to 200. So those are the two things we added for another account that we're family account we're taking care of. We good friend Jim pointed this out yesterday. So TAP Coors, one of our friends is a big Coors fan. It looked like there was possibly 2 days ago a pocket pivot, definitely a pocket pivot today. And so we put on a spread. See if I can bring up that spread, what we put on. We put on the 65, 67.5 spread. We were out and about. We did see it hit 67. That's a little bit of a pullback, but we'll keep watching that. And then the other spread we put on in this account was Bud. Budweiser got a gap up here. It's up to the 50-day moving average. See what kind of spread we put on Bud. 62.5 to 65. And it's up to 63.07. We're in the money potentially in that one. I know many times it has to get up a little higher before you start making money. And now I'm not sure why the count is frozen, but the other one, we had won this on earnings, gapped up, and we closed it out because anything falls below the gap. And then we added it back this morning as it got right up in the, looks like it's filling the gap. And when it fills the gap, it tends to go back to the normal trend. So that's one of them that we did. And then last weekend was Square, kind of the same thing, where we've been seeing a lot of these gap ups kind of start to fill some of the gap, and then they continue to the trend. So this is the one we put on Friday. So that's what's happening there. Guess we can take a look at some of the other accounts. Want to clear. Finally cleared. Take a look at Microsoft, which is slight big pullback. Interesting, Apple is trending higher again today. I'm going to close this and try to reopen it. As soon as I do that, then she starts working. Isn't that how life works? So we're relaunching the chart, so we'll just share this again. Now, if you ask what we're trading on, it's TD Ameritrade Think or Swim. It's being merged into Schwab. So Schwab account would be a good place to go if you want to do anything similar. But this is Microsoft pulling back to the 50-day new moving average, not doing anything wrong. Apple tried to move up and really pull back to the middle to the lower of the range. Tried to move up again. It's got these trending lines moving in the wrong direction. You want these to be kind of in a power trend. So you want the 10-day to be above the 20-day and the 20-day to be of the 50s, kind of this alignment. And this is totally in the wrong direction. So we'll continue to watch those here. This is beginning to get a little bit of annoying. I'm not sure what's going on with this charting system. So that's Apple. We'll just go along all the big tech. Alphabet, it's up 3 days in a row. Earnings, 43 days. Some pretty high volume here. So I'm not sure if it's trying to do a bottoming base. We'll just kind of watch it here a couple of days. We looked at Meta, Netflix, still holding above 600, just riding that 10-day moving average. So doing nothing wrong. Tesla up 2% today. But once again, all the moving averages are trending in the wrong direction. Pretty low volume. And what are we missing here? We got Apple, we got Google, we got Meta, we got Netflix, we got Nvidia. I think we got them all covered. Let's take a look at Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly, not sure what's going on with this. It's kind of slashed right through the 20-day moving average. So maybe it needs to set up for another base. That's some pretty high volume right here. And pretty high volume again today. So it's down 3.79% after it kind of broke out here, had like a base on base pattern. It's kind of been trending slowly, and then this is where it really kind of broke out here and moved higher. Take a look at Toast. Toast is really taken off. We had earnings play on right here, gapped up, pull back a little bit. See it undercut that right here. We decided to, it wasn't too bad of an undercut, so we decided to keep it, and it is just keeps trending up. So this Toast is used at all the restaurants for credit card processing, and then 4 used at majority of hotels. Really pulled up here, and we didn't like this pullback here. Pretty volatile, but it is doing nothing really wrong. Weatherford. We added a Weatherford at 65, and it is in like a double bottom here, broke up, pull back. It is kind of volatile, does kind of move around a lot with oil pricing. This is a big sell-off, worrying about Saudi Arabia cutting back in drilling. And then their earnings came out in the conference call, no real problem. So we put on 125 shorting the call option, kind of try to earn a little bit more money on this. So it's a story with Weatherford. And we do have a long-term, we think, crowd big winner in cybersecurity. I think it'll need to really set up a new base. We have a 330 option on this. We'll just kind of see how that plays here. It's pulled back to the 10 and 20-day moving average. It's really been hard to get into CrowdStrike. Kind of moves all over, doesn't really set up a base. So that's the reason we just decided to move in here. We had been in Zscaler, but Zscaler, since their earnings, they've just been flailing away. They have, I believe, a 260 12-month target. Crowd has anywhere from 360 to 435 for their 12-month target. So they just had a great earnings report, and this is what the gap up was. And with a big pullback in the market, this is what's kind of happening right now. So we'll just see at 102% earnings increase, and we'll keep looking on that one. So it's been Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Your responsibility to do your own due diligence. Hope everybody has a great Monday. Business keeps moving forward. We hope you have all your goals and activities set up for this week. If we can help you with any of your financial goals or activities, please feel free to reach out to us. And if you have any questions about how to set up an account or anything, feel free to reach out to us. We love supporting people and helping people to get their start. In the meantime, have a great week, everybody, and we'll catch up with you on Taco Tuesday.